Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English grade 8 video lessons. I'm your instructor Zahmid. I hope that you're doing well. Students, we will cover another SLO from our unit number 7, which is called a mystic plates. It's a diary entry that is included in the main lesson. We are going to cover our very first students learning outcome. This is our lecture 1A, and we will be talking about grammar. And in grammar, we know that there are different parts of speech, and in that we have verb. But verb are further divided into different categories. So today we will be talking about models or model verbs. Let's read our SLO. It says, use models correctly in speech and writing to create an effect and impact on the reader. Yes, we will be talking about modal verbs. I hope that you are somehow familiar with this. We will see that how these modal verbs function, and we will see different modal verbs as well. Now, let's move forward to your today's brainstorming session, where you have to think about a time when you wanted to express possibility, certainty, or ability. What words did you use? Yes, it's time to recall and storm your brains. When we want to express these different scenarios, when we want to show possibility, which we are not sure about, or certainty, when we are very much certain and sure, or we are asking for permission and so on. We have verbs for them, and we call them modal verbs. So from the book, this is the page that you will be opening. Modal verb is a type of helping verb. Yes, we know that verbs are in different categories. We have the main verb, then we have helping verbs or auxiliaries. And modal verbs, students, they fall in the helping verb category. Modal verbs are used to express something that is certain or probable, which means possible or not possible to do. We talk about ability, ask permission, and make requests also, and also offers. Some modal verbs, they are can, could, would, will, may, might, shall, should, etc. There are also modal verbs like need to or ought to. Now, we need to understand that how we are going to use these modal verbs correctly and accordingly. Now, here you have some examples. In this first sentence, from there we could see Kareem, Kareemabad, or you can name any noun. Now, what is the modal verb that we have over here? Yes, this is could, and it's a helping verb. Now, what is it showing? From there, we could see Kareemabad, which means that they could see it. It's their ability that they used and do it. The main verb over here is seeing, but this is prior to our main verb. We have a helping verb in the form of a modal, and we see that here this is not for asking permission or offering something, but rather it shows an ability. Next one, I'm sure you would have noticed that sometimes your cameras won't capture the beauty. Yes, we have this letter, this word, would over here. This is again a modal verb, but what is it telling us? What is the situation? Can you take a wild guess? Yes, you would have noticed. Now, this is not a certainty. This is not for permission. This is not for any offer. This is very much probable. Now, the writer or the speaker is not sure if the reader have noticed or have not noticed. So that's why we used would, and since we are talking about in the past tense, that's why we used would. Next, we did not dare to cross the bridge as there was a risk of falling. Yes, students, dare is also a kind of a verb where you see that you can sense that daring to do something. Now, if it is done or not, this is also a modal verb. The last one here is the view was so scenic that for the next hour, none of us could even talk to each other. This is again showing possibility, and this is in the negative sense because the speaker is saying that we could not see anything. None of us could even talk to each other. Again, could is in the past form. It means it's showing you possibility that was happened in the past. All right. Now here is a list. This image shows you all these different modal verbs with different situations, purposes, or scenarios over here. First, to show ability, you can use can, or in the past form, you can use could. For example, I can talk to him. It means you have the ability of doing the action you're talking about. He could have done it. Again, you're talking about possibility. For permission, if you want to say permission, you use these modal verbs may and can. May I leave the class? Or can I go barefooted? So these are permissions. For obligations, you use must or have to. For prohibition and to showing the inability, you use can't and must not. That yes, a little correction. This is not possibility. This is not ability. Rather, it is prohibition, stopping something and some action to happen. For offers, you will use will and would. For suggestions, shall, should. These modal verbs are used. If you want to make requests, you can use could and would. For future possibilities or probabilities, will and shall are used, and for past probability, you use could have and would have, since we are talking about the past. So now, by using all these modal verbs, you can fulfill all those different scenarios like asking permission, stopping somebody, be very certain, showing ability or inability. Now, and that's the whole point of using our modals or modal verbs. Here you can look at the examples again and you can highlight the modal verbs. For example, we should read more books. Now, the modal verb over here is should. And what is it telling us? Let's go back to the slide. What is should telling us? Should is a suggestion. It means that the speaker is suggesting that the readers or the listeners should read more books. This is not an obligation over here. This is not a permission. It is used correctly according to the situation. Next one is, can you drive me to the airport? Can is used here to show possibility, and also it is asking for a request as well. Lisa might practice her German. Might, again, you are not sure. There's a probability, so you can see that might is showing possibility. She might or might not practice her German. We are not sure about it as a speaker or as a writer. Now, after learning about all these different kinds of modal verbs, seeing them in different scenarios, and labeling them with different things like permission, possibility, ability, probability, etc., now you want to pause the video and just take a look at this activity so that you can solve it with your learned lesson. Now, let me do the first one for you. You tell Anita about the party tomorrow night. It's a surprise. Now, what kind of modal verb over here are we using? You must not, you need to, does not have to, or has to. since this is a surprise and surprise are not to be told, so what is the right option? Yes, you must not tell Anita about the party tomorrow night. It's a surprise. You can solve the rest of these 2, 3, 4, and 5 by yourself. Try to understand the sentence, be logical, and use the modal verbs accordingly. Now, here it's time to do an activity. You can do it as a homework as well, or you can do it right now in your class. Let's go through it. First, you will find a partner. You can tell one of them to think of a job and give hints about it to their partner so they can guess which job it is. To incorporate modal verbs in this activity, students will have to use statements using modal verbs mentioned below to give clues. And these modal verbs are need not, must not, have to, don't have to. Now, the description is also given. For example, need not or needn't in contraction is used. The professionals need not drive a bus. Now, it means that there is no need to. So, you can say that this modal verb shows us the obligation, or they can show you that there is no need to do something, because need to is also our modal verb, and if you use it in the negative form, then you can also use it accordingly. Now, this is a simulation link where you will learn more about modal verbs. You can watch it right after finishing this video lesson, and you can learn and enhance your modal verbs knowledge. For the homework, students, first you have to pick 10 sentences from the text and rewrite them using modal verbs. You can use 10 sentences from the text of the lesson and do this homework. Now here you have this word bank of modal verbs and put it according to the given sentences. Here is your worksheet where you have to choose the most suitable modal verb and that is going with the sentence. Here at the end, I would like to introduce you with these resources over here, and now you can get them from the description of the video. So students, I hope that you have understood modal verbs correctly. You can use them according to different situations, and you need to learn the differences between could, might, may, or can, and so on. I'll see you in the next video lesson. Allah Hafiz.